Hey everyone, welcome back to Political X. For more knowledge and updates on UK, European and US politics, make sure you subscribe to this channel. Hello and welcome back to part 2 of Nigel Farage getting owned. We are taking a look at what Nigel has done in the public eye and how he's been eviscerated by members of the public, whether that's Russell Brand, James O'Brien, or even just members of the public. I want to say a big thank you to my Patreon supporter, my first. There's a lot of good feeling and vibes coming out with today's session. As of this week, the channel has grown and we've literally just hit 1,800 subscribers as I say this. So I definitely want to say a big thank you to everyone who's subscribing, for everyone who's becoming a patron, everyone who's getting involved in buying merchandise, everyone who just wants to buy me a coffee. Thank you so much. So let's start off with Byrne, an Irish journalist and television presenter who has had multiple run-ins with Nigel Farage where she has eviscerated him. Have a listen to the first one and then we're going to go into detail about the rest.
Did you ever consider how all of this would impact Ireland, or did you and do you care?
Oh, I do, and I think ultimately Ireland will leave the European Union too. I don't think the European Union will even exist in 10 years' time.
Sorry, can I just stop you there? The latest poll figure I have on that is 88% of people who were asked here in Ireland said that they would stay in the EU. So that's not going to happen, and it's not on the cards.
No, just as you were all going to vote for the Lisbon Treaty, but in the end you didn't. You voted against the Lisbon Treaty. You were forced to vote again. The European Union is not.
Hang on a second. The Lisbon Treaty was not passed the first time. You are right. It was renegotiated. Ireland won some reassurances on sovereignty. So what was presented to the Irish people the second time was not, in fact, the same.
Yeah, well, it was all completely meaningless anyway. Look, all over Europe, what you are seeing is the growth of real opposition to this project. The idea that Europe's laws should be set and made by a group of unelected old men in Brussels, it's an idea whose time has passed. And I don't just want the UK out of the European Union, I want Europe out of the European Union. I want a Europe of sovereign democratic states working and trading closely together. But this current system will not stand the test of time, believe you me.
So you'll notice in the beginning there were 4 numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, because on 4 occasions he is either caught out by Claire or by people from Ireland having a good old jolly with him. Here he is again trying to take on Claire and he becomes a little bit awestruck.
And how is it? And why don't you ask yourselves in Dublin a question? Why did you fight the British? Why did Irish nationalists fight the British for 500 years? 500 often very bloody, difficult years until the 1920s. What was the point of it if you're now governed by European commissioners?
I think people will be entertained, Nigel, to hear you talking about this.
And that may be too inconvenient for all of you in Dublin. Oh, I'm sure. Yes, of course.
I know that you apologise for the birthday greeting which you delivered in the last couple of days, but I want people to see just how much you know about the history and culture on this island.
Now, it's a bit early in the day, so all I've got actually is coffee, but I hope you enjoy a few pints with the lads tonight. Up the Ra!
Up the Ra, Nigel. I mean, I know that you said sorry. I know you get 87 quid. It's entirely within your rights to do that. But come on, don't try and lecture the Irish people about the culture and history and precarious nature of peace on this island. You haven't got a clue.
And yet it got worse for Nigel because he didn't learn from that mistake. For £87, he's willing to make himself look like a fool. And it was done to him 2 more times. It's quite stupendous to see someone do it to themselves like this for little amounts of money. Which then makes you think, was the US Senate report into Russian interference both in the US and Europe and UK? Did they have a point? Did they see something that the UK report didn't involving Nigel and Russian money? If you're wondering what I'm talking about with the US Senate report and Nigel, a report into Russian interference was made by the US Senate and Nigel was mentioned along with Aaron Banks. If you want to know more about that, I do actually have a video on the topic of Russian interference, just a timeline, not too much of an analysis. It'll be in the link description. As stated earlier, he does this 2 more times of saying support for the IRA. Let's have a listen.
Well, hello, Gerard. It's Nigel Farage here, and Con and Mag have been on to me because they want to wish you a very
happy 71st birthday. And they're looking forward to seeing you and some of the old team back at Chucky Arlaw's in Brighton. I've had the full story. You were the team leader there for many years. And they now want to wish you a belated, because we kind of missed it by a couple of days, but a belated 71st birthday. And they hope you're having a very happy retirement. As do I, Gerard. Enjoy. Good luck to all involved in the Omma Dawn fundraiser, hiking overnight at Omma Mountain in New South Wales until dawn on Friday. A lorry load of volunteers set off on Thursday, and the leader of the gallant band is Sean South. And this message comes from Gary Owen.
So, he's duped into 2 birthday greetings in which he was saying up the Ra, and I'm not going to pronounce the Irish boy. Actually, I'm going to try. It's Toid Fide La. I think that's how you pronounce it. But he doesn't go and stop there. He goes for a third, and his third point is about Sean South, which is an Irish rebel song. The man just hasn't got a clue, and will do pretty much anything for 100 quid. This just blew me away. He was a glutton for punishment. I'd say there's at least 3. I'd love to know what your thoughts are, but I think he gets eviscerated at least 3 times here, bringing our total number up to 7. Nigel goes on a massive rant and defends Donald Trump talking about disinfectants. And the reason I've got this picture up is because this was taken just before Trump went to the podium to say what he said. Now I'm going to just go straight into this. Have a listen to what Nigel says defending him. But note, on that picture, commonly available disinfectants, bleach, alcohol, work to kill the virus. And Nigel won't stop defending Trump. This really does verge on some form of conspiracy theory stuff. And I've, again, done 2 videos on this. I'm 90% sure Nigel is some sort of conspiracy theorist on certain topics. Let's just have a listen.
Let me just jump in on COVID-19, because I'm sorry, his handling of this pandemic has been an utter disaster. And I said this to him the other day, and that's one of the reasons we had a little falling out, because I just thought that his whole strategy of taking this so lightly, not dealing with it properly, has led to America now having 220,000 deaths, the worst record by far of anywhere in the world. The infection rates through the roof in most states now. His refusal to mandate people to wear masks, to tell them from the podium, take it seriously, wear your mask, socially distance, all that kind of thing. His nonsensical cure theories like, bleach and so on. All of it, to me, was woefully irresponsible.
No. End this nonsense. He never mentioned bleach, Piers. Do not.
Well, he did. I heard him.
Do not allow your viewers to believe that.
We literally all heard him, Nigel. What are you talking about?
Are you seriously telling me that he said bleach?
Yes.
Do you not remember?
You are wrong.
Do you not remember?
You are wrong. And let me add.
Well, you don't remember Donald Trump turning to his coronavirus expert and saying, you can now inject people with this stuff, this bleach.
Piers, you're talking, no, I won't use the word, all right? You're talking utter rubbish. And on his handling of the crisis, he closed the flights. He stopped the flights coming in from China and other countries that carried the infection whilst we continued an open door at Heathrow Airport. Now, I'm not saying that everything he said about this is right, but he did lock down America, tried his best to stop the virus from coming in, but 7 months have gone by. We now have better medical treatment. We also know that what lockdown does isn't just bankrupt and ruin the self-employed and sole traders, doesn't just damage mental health on a vast scale, leads to huge domestic abuse, massive increases in suicide, but also in health terms, because lung cancer diagnoses in Britain are down 75%, heart diagnoses down 60%.
There are definitely consequences to lockdown, and as you know, we are experiencing that in the UK.
I just want to clarify one thing. What I'm talking about is when Trump back in April said, then I see the disinfectant, which is bleach, or it knocks it out in a minute. Sorry, bleach is disinfectant, Nigel.
Do you know what?
Bleach is disinfectant.
Grow up, stop being fake news.
Let's listen to what the Hong Kong government describes as disinfectant. He also goes on, which isn't mentioned in this interview, to bang on about putting UV light into the body. I don't know if you're aware, but your skin is a pretty hardcore thing. It's able to take UV light. The inside is not as much, and even your skin has limitations. You will burn if you're out in the sun too long. And this is clearly Trump coming up with stuff to make him look as if he's going to be the one to solve the crisis. It's interesting as well that we hear Nigel Farage banging on about, oh, he stopped the planes coming. Great, that's your first step. What about the rest of the steps? He hadn't got an answer. Trump didn't want to listen, and you'll see it. I've got the clips coming up and with sound, and you'll see that Trump's trying to win the day, and Nigel's defending this. And it's like he's got no medical understanding. He's just reading signs and going, oh, that's a good idea, so let's do that, without understanding the consequence. And there are severe consequences, which are pointed out by Piers and Susanna.
He never said bleach.
Okay, I'll tell you what, let's just play the clip. You say he didn't say use disinfectant bleach. This is what he said.
Supposing we hit the body with a tremendous, whether it's ultraviolet or just very powerful light, and I think you said that hasn't been checked, but you're going to test it. And then I said, supposing you brought the light inside the body, which you can do either through the skin or in some other way. And I think you said you're going to test that too. Sounds interesting. Right, and then I see the disinfectant, where it knocks it out in a minute, 1 minute. And is there a way we can do something like that by injection inside or almost a cleaning? Because you see it gets on the lungs and it does a tremendous number of the lungs. So it'd be interesting to check that. So that you're going to have to use medical doctors with. But it sounds interesting to me.
Have I made that up?
Yes.
Okay.
We just saw the clip.
No, it's okay. It's okay. If you think,
I'm sorry,
honestly,
you are sinking to the gutter by talking about bleach. You know you are.
So
yet
Donald
you
Trump
won't
was talking about bleach. We just heard him.
It's just rubbish.
We just heard him, Nigel.
I did not hear anyone mention bleach. I did hear
disinfectant is bleach. You realise that, do you?
No, you could talk about acids in all sorts of different contexts too if you wanted to.
Disinfectant is bleach. That's what he's talking about.
Talking utter rubbish.
Okay, let's play it again.
Right, and then I see the disinfectant, where it knocks it out in a minute, 1 minute. And is there a way we can do something like that?
What am I missing, Nigel?
He didn't use the word bleach. He talked about the possibility of injecting something that could neutralize the virus. Interestingly,
is bleach.
Interestingly, I had several scientists say to me that it was perhaps a viable proposition, but because people like you chose to use the term bleach,
disinfectant is bleach, Nigel.
Now, Piers, he did not use the word bleach.
Can I draw your attention?
Disinfectant.
Can I draw your attention? Harvard's toxicology Twitter account felt the need to issue medical advice online following that statement, saying, please don't inject bleach or drink disinfectant.
You know, we are talking about who is about to become the leader of the Western world, and you want this to degenerate into some ludicrous headline in a tabloid newspaper.
No.
Surely there are bigger and more important things to talk about than
Nigel,
that. I would have thought. Maybe not. Maybe our audience don't care about peace.
Yeah.
Maybe they don't care about future trade deals with the UK. Maybe you're right.
And speaking of future trade deals, they've got to go through Congress. This is what the leader of Congress said.
There will be no bilateral US-UK agreement if the Good Friday Accords in regard to the border are changed. And actually, how can they walk away from an international agreement? How do you trust that? We've made an international agreement. This is how we'll go forward. Oh, never mind. Oh, never mind. But anyway, again, their self-determination is up to them. Our trade relations are up to us.
Maybe you're right. We should trivialize the whole thing. I don't know.
I don't think the President of the United States standing at that podium encouraging people to think that they should inject themselves with disinfectant/bleach is a good thing in the middle of a global pandemic. I think it's actually a reckless dereliction of his duty.
This is absolute baloney.
What is baloney? We've just heard him twice.
He didn't use the word bleach, and you damn well know that. And number two,
what do you think bleach is? Do you know what bleach is?
Suggest people to self-administer. And frankly, I'm not surprised your viewers are going down if you're trivialising a really...
Our viewers are going up.
We've got record viewers right now.
Political
That's
moment.
fake news, Nigel Farage. That was fake news.
Right in the kissing.
He's so on the ropes.
Leader of the Western world is being voted for, and you are trivial. What about, I tell you what about Hunter Biden's son and the money he made from the Ukraine and Russia? Should we talk about that, or doesn't that matter?
No, I've just talked to you about COVID-19, and you assured me that I was spewing fake news when I said the President of the United States has suggested using bleach to get rid of COVID-19. I then played you the tape twice of him saying exactly that, and you're still denying he said it.
I have to say, this is the lowest grade interview I've ever taken part in 20 years. We are talking about major global issues, and all you can do is trivialise it. It's a pretty poor show.
OK, but just to clarify one more time, you are insistent the President never said use disinfectant or bleach to inject into the body to cure coronavirus. He never said it.
I'm absolutely certain, despite the fact you denied it live on air, I'm absolutely certain he didn't use the word bleach. Yes, of that I really am certain.
Is bleach a disinfectant?
Do you know what? I've got better things to do than this. This is utterly ludicrous.
Is it a disinfectant, Nigel, or not?
Piers, go on, play your silly games.
What game?
Let the rest of us worry about who the next leader of the Western world is going to be, what it means to the United Kingdom, what it means for world peace, what it means for America. This is what really matters. While you're there, have a chat about Hunter Biden, because that's quite important too.
I've written several columns about Hunter Biden, as you may know.
Pow! Right in the kissing.
He's so on the ropes.
Yes, I know you have, but and yet you're going back to an off-the-cuff comment that was made a few months ago
about coronavirus, the biggest issue facing the world right now.
The President suggesting you use disinfectant to cure coronavirus was a moment of total insanity.
Do we lock down or don't we? Do we lock down or don't we? Because what Biden is saying is vote for him, he'll lock down. What Trump is saying is vote for him and we'll learn to live with the virus and hope that a vaccine comes quickly. And that debate, actually, and I've been here, it's dominated the debate here over the course of the last week. And perhaps, given that lockdown is coming into the United Kingdom imminently, perhaps we should be discussing that.
Before we get to our final choice, be sure to click the subscribe button, the notification button and the like button. Feel free to comment below. If you want to show your support for the channel, feel free to join us as a patron or buy me a coffee if you feel inclined. And on top of that, we've got plenty of merchandise available through Redbubble. Finally, I'm going to put in a bit of a plug. I have got a playlist of Political X movies which are available in the channel. Please go and check them out. I don't think they've been watched enough, and there's some real eye-opening stuff in there. Our final thing is a conversation between Nick Clegg and Nigel Farage talking about Nigel's history, but a really interesting point came up, which then comes back to haunt Nigel in the European Parliament.
How you and your sort of family sort of felt about all of it. I mean, actually, by the way, I mean, just something occurred to me. I mean, both of our families have, your kids have British dad, mind you, as well, European mum. Would you say your kids feel as European as they do British? Do that? I mean,
no. I don't. No, they don't.
And do they speak different languages?
Oh, look, I mean, they're both, you know, they both speak perfect German.
And do they, like my kids have got Spanish and British passports. Do they have German and British passports?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and that link to the German side of their family is clearly important to them, but their identity, if it comes to a football game, it's pretty clear which side they're actually going to support. Their mum may not, but you know, that's pretty clear.
guest, and it regards our colleague in seat number 20, colleague Farage. I would say to our guest, don't take his grandstanding too seriously. This is a man who actually led his country, led his party to a Brexit vote, only the next day to admit that he lied and tricked and to jump ship and leave his party. This is not leadership, it's a circus. Secondly...
Yeah, so what? I'm Nigel Farage. I can do whatever I want, and my kids can get whatever they want. Nigel's estimated to be about 4 million in value, and he could easily buy a European passport. Go to Portugal, put an investment down on a house for 100,000, go there 2 weeks of the year, and after 4 years, not only will you have a return on that 100,000, you'll also be able to have a passport.
Secondly, I'm glad you're here, Mr. Farage. Secondly, he says he doesn't want to be part of a German European Union, yet he has made sure that 2 of his children have German passports. This man wouldn't know hypocrisy if it stared him straight in the face.
Do as you're told, not as we do. One rule for them, oppression for the rest. So what do you think of our list? Do you agree? Do you think I'm embellishing the evisceration that Nigel has experienced? If you enjoyed the video, please click subscribe, click like, or click the notification button, or all 3. And finally, thanks for listening. I'm Political X. Bye for now.